Everyone, it's Linda G and Lena from Down Under. Thank you.
Yay. So good to be back. Yeah.
And you look very healthy. You look very good.
Oh, thank you, darling. A bit of stage makeup, you know. Like.
Oh. So you were just saying it's hot in Australia.
It's really hot. I've got a cardi on because I'm in the aircon. But it's Death Valley temperatures, you know, and I've had family evacuated from the fires.
Yeah. Now, listen, I haven't heard anything about the fires.
Fires are bad.
Fires right now in Australia.
And we have a professional fire service and volunteers. And the volunteers are amazing. They go into the teeth of this stuff, you know.
In this weather.
Yeah. They said it's jumping hills. It's moving really fast.
Are you guys really dry right now?
Yeah, tinder dry.
I just found out this morning that the whole United States, for the first time since 1980, doesn't have a spot that's dry.
Oh, really?
We've had that much rain. At the state of California, my son works for the water department for Marin County, and he said, "Mom, all the reserves are high up. Everything's full."
You must be getting our rain.
Did you guys used to get rain like that?
Look, we always have droughts followed by floods where everything washes away, you know, and you go,
We tend to do the same thing. We tend to do the same thing.
Yeah.
Listen, we got thank you guys for coming.
Thanks for coming in.
I got my Kevin Loving here, and our Vivian is here, and Lisa Foster, Water Lily, Lucid, Tina from Mexico. Hey, listen, you guys, if you could say a quick prayer. My grandson's really sick.
Oh.
They might have got sick in Vegas. You know, I just got done getting sick, but I wasn't that sick. I didn't have a fever and chills and a sore throat. They got the fever, chills, and the sore throat. So now my grandson's been really sick. She took him to urgent care, but she's really sick.
Oh, yeah.
So anyway, prayers for everyone that's been sick. This thing is
yes, please.
First thing I want to ask, Lena, that man that shot those women, that shot that woman through the. Now they've released a video he took, and apparently they were kind of toying with the police. You know, they were out there. They were trying to interfere. She turned and looked at the guy and said, "Oh, no, I don't hate you," or something like that. And then he was telling her to get out of the car, and that's when she started to move out of the way. Now, she didn't go to hit him. She was moving away, and that's when he took out his gun and shot her right through the temple right there. Boom, boom, boom. And now, of course, you know, your red hats are going to say, "Oh, well, there you go. She didn't follow orders." Well, in the United States of America, that's not a reason to kill somebody.
Well, it's so unprofessional. It's like badly trained police and stuff, in the sense of the primary job should be to de-escalate.
Right.
He could have even shot out the tires. But it's this point that you stop your car and get out into a group of armed, masked men. I mean, you've got to think about your human reflexes. Would you want to do that? It's actually not a clear choice in your head. Your instinct is to get away. But there's no excuse for shooting someone in the face 3 times.
It's just crazy.
It's absolutely appalling.
I'll be honest with you. I watch a show out here in the United States called it's a police show, and it's their camcorders. They show their cam. Now, when they have their camcorders on, they tend to be much more patient than some of these stories you hear. But some of the stuff and the abuse a lot of police officers will put up with and still not do. Of course, they're not going to show the ones where they killed the person, but the things they do to try to make sure. And then when they injure someone, the first thing they do is get them medical care. And they told that physician,
Doctor.
yeah, get away. And they said, where is?
Yeah, it's the opposite of how public officials and law enforcement should be operating. If you're going into big groups of people, there's going to be slings and arrows. You know, people are going to shout at you and do this thing. You mean he couldn't cope with a 37-year-old saying whatever she said, which happened to be, I don't hate you? It's this 0 to 100, isn't it? Like, that's what happens.
Right. And also, the president of the United States sat up there and lied bold-faced yet again.
Oh, they all did.
So did Kristi Noem. Oh, he's in the hospital. He's recovering from his bold-faced lie. They got videos of him walking away. He left the scene of the crime with his gun, totally illegal.
Yeah.
But my question to you is, if you could take a quick look, see, what's the outcome? Will he, now, you know, while President Trump is alive, he's not going to be able to, they'll never get him.
Yeah. But let's have a quick look.
Ever serve justice for this?
Yeah. Will it turn the dial, you know?
Thank you, Susan.
Okay, with my cards here, first up the ring. No, I think people are still arguing in circles. So some people will just take their version of it, and that she was a rampant lefty that had been radicalized. All this stuff they keep saying that they just pull out of the ether. So there's more of that.
Yeah.
More of that. Look at this death card. Okay. So it's like, I'd like to, when I designed these cards, Linda, I put the figure under here to look like Trump.
Look at, I got the death card too. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Wow. But here's the thing, 3 of Wands here, looking to the future. I think it will, like, we won't see real satisfaction from this or Portland, but it becomes more important. So it's like independent voters in the US wouldn't be happy with this, would not be impressed by this, right? No.
And Trump's numbers have dropped tremendously with young men.
Don't you love it? They're falling.
They've fallen with young men.
Young men are down 46 points.
He's dropped 10 points.
I know. And it's like some other figure as well in there that they're dropping away completely because they're sick of the fight with the bros too. So young men.
This guy, this will happen after Trump's not there, but legally this guy left with the weapon that he killed. There would always be, they should have cut it off. They should have, first of all, got her care. And then there's so many things the family's going to own them, the federal government. But my feeling is, and it may be several years, but he will get in trouble and maybe his freedom will be taken away.
Yeah. Because there are certain procedures after a shooting, regardless of who's right or who's wrong, his weapon should have been surrendered to his superior officer and him is taken away, regardless of who did what or said what.
Right. Yeah. Even people, when you see that they shot back because they were shot at.
Yeah.
They always put them on administrative leave.
Yes. That's what you do.
And you do
while there's an independent inquiry.
Exact. So listen, I mean, there's so much stuff going on here. 20%, 6% now reported. Interesting. So very interesting about what's going on in Congress right now. Did you see that extended it passed? A bunch of Republicans stepped away from Trump. Thank you, Enigma. What do you call them? The Obama thing has passed. What is it? What is it called, you guys? The Obama. All those people were going to have to pay triple the amount, and they extended it for 3 years.
Affordable health care extended.
Yeah, but they came back and they got it through.
Yeah, I'm amazed.
And they're also
amazed. Here's the other thing. They know it's really unpopular to cut it off. It's their voters being cut off. So it makes sense politically for them to do it. But I still wasn't convinced they were going to.
Yeah, Affordable Care Act. Yeah. So they've extended it. I couldn't believe they did it.
Yeah.
They fought.
And for how long? It's 2 or 3 years or something?
Yeah.
Let us know, guys, in the comments.
Thank you, guys. And also, articles, the thing of war, they're making sure he can't go into Venezuela. What the hell was that about? What the hell was that about? Was it actually about oil?
I think it was about a few things. I think they've wanted the oil for a long time. That's definitely one of the factors. But he doesn't have good advice, right? And he's a madman. So I think he did it just because he could, as much as anything. Then he thought, this is just my take on it, then he thought all the oil companies are going to come in and there's going to be all this oil. And the problem with that is the oil companies don't want to know about Venezuela. They were all there 40 years ago. They
bought the T-shirt.
They don't want to do it because when this is over, when the Yeti's dead, when there's a new government in the US, when things are different, it could swing back to a socialist country that socializes the oil again, and they would have lost their investment.
Right, right.
They're not queuing up.
Right. So he's having all those bigwigs with the oil company meeting him here coming up too. He keeps having meetings. You know why? Because they're not agreeing.
They're not agreeing.
He's going to have to pay them. And at that, they don't want to get shot. There's too many militia in there that would take them out.
Yeah, it's too unstable even before this. That's why they're not there.
Yeah.
But here's the kicker for the American people. Trump will have to save face, right? Now he's done all this. He has to get the oil. So he's going to come out of these meetings with the oil companies who say we don't want to touch it. And he's going to go, I've got the best deal ever. And it's a public-private partnership, if he manages to get that sentence out. Public-private partnership. And it's just amazing. Well, what happens with public-private partnerships? Because we have them here in Australia for big stuff, big highways and stuff. What always happens is any profit is the private part of it. That goes somewhere else, and all the debt is public. So the American people will end up, ConocoPhillips and Exxon, they'll sign on eventually under pressure, under a public-private partnership, meaning Americans will pay.
They came in and took all Venezuela oil, all those big oil places, and then Venezuela ended up with 1% of it.
Yeah. And then they have a corrupt government that steals the 1%.
Yeah. Oh, here's a good question. Hold on.
Yeah.
I got to step away 1 second. My son's down.
I'll read it out.
Okay.
Do you both see Trumpy Dumpy still trying to take Greenland from Denmark? He's threatening to take it by force. Blessings to you. So it's a hard one, isn't it? Because none of this stuff is rational or strategic. It's just macho impulse craziness. That's all it is. And it's a risk. They might do it. But here's the thing, you know, guys, just while Linda's busy, they don't have to take it by force. There is an existing base there. And I'll wait for Linda to get back to say more about it, but I will tell you the EU and NATO, all European countries are really, really worried by this. And Denmark is freaked out. The Scandinavian countries are freaked out. You know, so it's a watch and see, but it's not a good development. It really isn't a good development. So I see there's another question here about Mexico, and it's the same way. It would be so stupid, but it doesn't take it off the table. Stupid seems to be a requirement, doesn't it? It's just like that. But I think Colombia is at risk too. But you notice the people that Trump surrounds himself with, they just think they can buy Greenland. They don't understand how Indigenous people relate to their own country. They think they can just offer them money and that what? They're going to walk away? Not going to happen. You know, it's tremendously upsetting. They just don't feel any responsibility for this. There's no good advice going out there. You know? So, question here, are these his ideas or Stephen Miller? I think Stephen Miller is behind 90% of it. And because Trump doesn't actually have ideas. He can't actually join two thoughts together. So he just reacts. So yes, Miller is the real personification of evil in this story. So Epstein-style distraction, yes, totally. Will Jonathan Ross, the shooter, ever face justice? I would say yes, but not for a few years, not until there's a change of government. When will Miller be gone and his wife? Good question. I wish I knew the answer. Let's have a look.
I had a bunch of boxes out there too. Sorry.
You okay, huh?
Yeah, I got my son's lunch and then there was a bunch of boxes too.
Oh my God, that's okay. We were talking about Greenland, Linda.
Uh-huh.
And
yes. I did a deep dive on that.
Yeah, what did you get?
Fighting back. I see Greenland fighting back.
Here's a story, and you'll appreciate this as a Native American, right? So there's only 30,000 Greenlanders. Right? There's already a US base there, so there's no reason to invade. They're actually already there. But I heard a Greenlander interviewed, and he said, you know what? If they invade, all we have to do is steal their socks, and they wouldn't be able to leave the base.
Well,
I love that.
The European nation has said, you hit Greenland and we take away all your military bases, all of them, all through Europe.
Well, this is a big thing because let me tell you, the rest of the world is talking every day. How can we resist? How can we fight back?
Yeah.
Right? So this is one of the risks. They'd be reluctant to do that because that leaves them open to Russia. But they've got to talk about this stuff, and they are talking about it.
Yeah. I just feel, this is my psychic hit, you guys. Yeah. I really feel Trump is taking a minute. At first, you know what happened? They got like the shot in the arm when they got Venezuela, and it came, there was deaths, but it wasn't any American deaths. and that Miller up there like a little midget, and talking about we're the most powerful and we can do whatever we want. No,
it's obscene.
You know what's going to happen, you guys, and I could be totally wrong, and I hope I am wrong. He's gonna hit something. China's furious at us right now.
Oh, by the way. Yeah.
They're saying, don't you dare block us from Venezuela.
Yeah.
Something's getting ready to happen with boots on the ground, and a lot of American military are going to get hit.
Mm-hmm.
And when that happens, that's when they say, get this guy out of office. Get him out of office.
That's really interesting.
Because when you start hurting American men and women, our people, over oil, well, it's not like we're trying to save a nation.
No. And also, looking at Greenland, it's like Venezuela. Yeah, Greenland has all these minerals and oil and natural gas and precious everything. But it's almost impossible to mine there because that's why the big mining companies aren't there. There's a reason for this stuff.
A lot of work, yeah.
America's top level are really bad at phase 2, Linda. I have to say it.
Yeah.
And I can say it as an Australian because we've gone into every fight with you.
Yeah.
And it's fine for the precision.
Finland came and fought with Switzerland. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And Canada and lots of people in the coalition of the willing. But we all failed because there was no phase 2.
Yeah.
You do these bomb them back to the Stone Age stuff. Now you do these military precision strikes, really awesome. But there's no phase 2.
Right.
And that's when it falls over.
China just got all the records they stole all the material from Washington. Apparently they have the Epstein files. That's what they're saying.
Oh, that's interesting. You know where they could have got them too?
Where?
Because there were Chinese spies strolling in and out of Mar-a-Lago for years.
Oh.
And it was known by investigative journalists and stuff. They're going, why are these Chinese operatives in here? But of course we know they would have only had to give him a gold toothbrush and he'd bring them in.
A gold toilet.
Or a gold toilet. He's probably got that. I want to ask you, Linda, you were talking about your hit before. Once it's American boots on the ground, it's a game changer.
It's a game changer.
Do you think it would also take out Miller?
Oh, well, Miller is going to be in the Nuremberg trials. He's going to.
Yeah, I've always seen him in that context. Absolutely.
Putin's getting ready to go, girlfriend. It's really bad in Russia right now. We've been wishing for it, but we can't wish for it too hard.
It's not about that. But the clock's ticking.
It's ticking, and Ukraine is just killing it. They're just wiping them out. They've taken back a lot of their land. And then he always talks like we're winning.
No.
We're winning. No, you're not.
Imagine it's winter in Russia and they don't have enough gas for heating.
It's terrible.
And the petrol, that's what starts revolutions, not big ideology. It's freezing your ass off.
Times that man stole the vote. He had such a tight grip.
Yeah.
He would kill anyone that dare challenge him.
Yes.
He acts like his people love him. No, they don't. But you start affecting their ability to feed their children. That's what I was saying about the United States. Of course, somebody said, yeah, we got the votes to pass for the ACA, but it's still got to be signed by Trump, right?
Yeah, well, it's got to go through Senate and then Trump.
Yeah, and then it's got to be a large number because he won't sign it. But all you got to do is to have people that can't afford to get insulin or their asthma medication. When this starts really hitting home, that's when the people, because America's been kind of cradled. We've lived a decent life ever since our beloved Franklin D. Roosevelt,
FDR and the New Deal. And
even,
it's like
even Johnson.
Yeah, but things go in 3-generation cycles, right?
Okay.
And so FDR, because he was an aristocrat, right? He came from a wealthy family and had connections and all of that. But in his heart, he wanted people to eat and to
and he
prosper.
wasn't quite like that until he got polio.
Well, exactly. But the point was he was condemned as a communist. He was condemned. All the stuff that is said now, right, was said about it. You're a traitor to your class, you know. He took a lot of flack from the robber barons.
Yeah.
But he pushed on. But now it's 3 generations. So America has to learn it again.
Yeah.
You know, that's how it works. Yeah. But on the upside, Linda, I think America could be much better on the other side of all of this. Not in the next 5 minutes.
No.
Not this year, not next year. But on the other side of this, you'll have young people who'll say, well, actually, why should someone have $1 billion when I'm on minimum wage and I'm working 80 hours a week? People are going to start asking the questions. And these billionaires like Amazon, it's fine for people. I'm not an anti-capitalist in the sense it's fine. You want to go and be a millionaire, be a millionaire. But like the Scandinavian way, you have to pay your workers really well.
Yes.
With proper conditions and do that. And then after that, that becomes profit.
Exactly.
It shouldn't be
minimum wage. At Walmart, that they got their people on welfare.
Yeah. And they can't rake in the billions fast enough. No, you can still be rich, but once you treat your workers properly.
Yeah.
No biggie. And I think that's why Mamdani is exciting, right? New York.
I really like his language. He's really good.
He's a treasure. And here's the thing. I don't think for 1 minute Mamdani's going to be able to introduce the things he'd like to do, like free public transport, free.
He's not going to be able to do it, or he will be able to do it.
He won't, I think, because of the system. He'll try, and good on him. But what I think he's good at, and what we all need to listen to, is him saying, I've been stopped from doing this because I'm told there's no money. But if we tax Google 2%, that would pay for all of this.
I know.
If we could tax Apple 2%, we could pay for all the childcare. So I think his real role, you know, in the bigger picture is to explain to people not to buy into that there's not enough money thing. Oh, yeah. It's about taxing the rich. So otherwise they'll just move out of New York and he won't have the money to play with. What needs to happen is he needs to keep explaining that, and the Dems need to move. That's what we need to talk about. Where are the Dems going?
They're a little bit on the fence right now because I think that there's a flat line with them. Do you understand what I'm saying? And when all these new people come in, there's going to be a lot of new people coming in, more progressive.
Yes.
They're going to take over. They're going to get rid of the dinosaurs. It's good to have a dinosaur like Bernie, someone who's been there, done that, and can give you the 411. But I'm sick of the same thing, different day. Why am I no longer impressed with the Speaker of Congress, the Democrat?
Hakeem Jeffries.
We used to adore him. What happened?
I know. And now I'm a bit cruel sometimes, Linda, but I call him now Hakeem, wake me up when it's over, Jeffries. Right?
That's what she said.
Because that's the vibe. Right? Now, he would have been brilliant if Pelosi wasn't there in the 90s or something, under normal circumstances.
Right.
He would have been delightful. He's smart, got the picture, but he's not up to this time in history.
Yeah.
And here's the other thing. I'll throw it out to the viewers. the invisible Ken Martin. Now, who's heard of Ken Martin? He's the head of the DNC. He is the head.
Oh, is that the guy that's got a nothing burger?
No one knows what his voice sounds like, Linda. I don't know what he looks like. Nobody knows his name. That's shocking. At this time in history, he is the head of the Democratic National Party.
Yeah, and can I tell you, I really think Gavin Newsom is going to be a spitfire.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
Telling people off. He flew to Washington to talk to Trump about where's that money for our fires, and Trump wouldn't meet with him.
Yeah, and that's how you handle the bully.
Yeah,
that's what Newsom is showing. It's sometimes you punch back, other times you make fun of them because they hate that.
Oh, he hated it. For your consideration.
Yes. And you've got to be agile and you've got to be across all these things, right? Yeah. He's got a good team. Newsom has a good team.
Yeah.
Now, here's my wish for 2026 and beyond. Newsom has set a very high bar.
And he has too.
Yeah. He's managing the fourth biggest economy in the world.
Yes.
Right? America could do a lot worse than Gavin Newsom as president. But here's the thing, that should be the standard so that other people who are competing, as it goes towards 2028, have to be better than Newsom to make the cut.
Yeah.
They have to be as good or better. So bless you, Gavin, because I think he's done that.
Yeah. Andre looked at his chart and he said, he's got the best chart come the election in 2028.
Love it.
That he's got a Jupiter aspect, the same that Bill Clinton had.
Yeah. And he's the perfect age.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Not too young, certainly not too old. Doesn't hurt that he's good looking. We all know that matters.
Yeah.
All of it. He's got the good.
I remember when Kamala, was it Kamala? Oh, no, it was Joe Biden. Joe Biden in the debate where he failed so badly.
Oh, it was
there was a MSNBC reporter that had Gavin Newsom standing next to her. She said, so what did you think about how awful Biden did? What was blah, blah, blah. He turned on her. This man has done this and this and this for this nation. He's the only one, blah, 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 blah. And he kept doing one thing. Thank you. He kept energetically just hitting her to where she started going backwards in the chair. Because he stood up and then he just turned around and walked off.
Yeah, good on him.
He sticks by those that he knows are good people. He could have said, oh, poor Biden, he really did. No, he wasn't one of those that went in there and threw him under the bus like George.
No, I like the fight he's got.
Yeah.
And he picks his fights, So I think he's very promising.
I think so. I know he's going to win as president. Although when someone said they thought, I would prefer a woman, I think it would help. But someone said, and then if you think it'll be two white guys, but somebody was saying they were thinking that the man that's getting such a hard time from Trump right now, they're thinking about demoting him and his military status.
Mark Kelly?
Mark Kelly as vice president. What do you think?
I think it'd be great.
Yeah.
I think it'd be great. And I think it should be just the best too. Let's not get too hung up on him.
Yeah.
But Kelly's story, not just his service to his country, but his wife was shot in the head.
I know.
And all of that. And these
other people died that day. Yes.
Yeah. These clowns are going for Kelly. But you know what? I think Kelly can chew them up and spit out the bones.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's what you need. You need fighters now. Dems need fighters, not polite people, not policy wonks. You don't want to talk to people about what's on page 53. No.
And none of them are perfect, because I'm pissed off at Newsom because he doesn't get those, because it's not up to him, though. It's his Department of Insurance. They keep letting like State Farm and stuff, up their rates. I get sick of that shit.
Yeah, and that's true. Far from perfect. But I think also the thing I like about Newsom is he knows every decision hasn't been right, and I think he's willing
to work
to be quite flexible to move forward. Otherwise, the biggest thing against him will be the rest of America saying you don't want to be like California and paying all those taxes, and that could kill him, So he has to do that dance. Do you think?
Why he's got a fan base going on right now is the way he told off Trump.
Of course, and people are desperate to
somebody tell him to go.
Somebody stand up. Desperate, and they're still. So the Dems have to grow up, snap out of it, expel the dinosaurs, move on, embrace young people.
Yeah, like even Clinton, when he came in, he never quite had. Oh my God! Thank you, Cindy. He never quite had the said he was going to tax the rich, but he did, and he didn't even tax them that much, but it was enough to take us out of debt.
Yes,
Biden tried desperately, but he just didn't have the Congress to back him up.
Yeah. And I think this is going to be the inside war with the Dems, because the corporate Dems don't want to tax the rich as an express thing. They really don't, partly because they're the rich, but they're stuck. That has to go now, and it's quite a simple message. Why should Google pay less tax than you and me?
I know.
It's not a hard message to sell. It's what I was saying before with Mamdani. If you break it down for people and just go, if they can do their bit, America's got this huge eye-watering deficit, right? You can't even count the zeros, right?
Yeah.
Everyone should do their bit. So let's just tax the uber rich 25% like everyone else. Imagine what 25% of Google or Microsoft is.
Oh my God.
They could even say we're not going to tax them 25%.
Unless Biden was lying, and he wasn't trying, but Biden was trying to do that. And it wasn't even that much.
But I think his heart wasn't in it because he was of that previous era. He was worried about losing, voters.
Yeah, all those old folks, they have the friends in the business.
Yeah. And he did very good things, but that wasn't really one of them that was going to get over the line.
Right. So go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, well, I think if you can bring it to the people, then the pressure is on all those representatives to do this thing. And so the smart thing, I think, to do is say, well, they could pay 25% like everyone else, but maybe not, maybe just 10%. And stick to it.
Biden was 2-3% more.
I know.
It would take us out of debt. It would pay for social.
It absolutely would. And you have to do those basic maths for people, just 2 or 3 things. Right. This would pay for education in 50 states, right? This would pay for healthcare for the next 10 years or whatever. You do the thinking for them, but keep it really simple.
Right. Exactly.
Because people will get that. If they just keep hearing that message, you'd get the whole, 60% of the population on board.
Right. So Kay Young says Europe has the goods on Dumpy. Why don't they just open their mouths and spill the beans to get rid of Dumpy and the regime? This is a lot bigger than what we know, you guys. And I think Israel has a lot to do with it.
Mm-hmm.
I think Israel cuts off anything that's coming forward.
Yeah.
I there's a lot of people who are part of this problem. You know, like the prince was in on it, and so yeah, there's a lot of people who can get hurt. That's my hit. What do you get?
Yeah, I think Europe's in a very tricky position now. Yes, there's men who behave badly in the Epstein style files and all that stuff's going on, right? That's one thing. And the sleazy stuff that certainly people have, because it's a digital world. There's not one copy of anything, you know, there's a million.
Right, exactly.
Okay. What the problem is, and in a way, you know what, it's a bit like what we were just saying about the Dems. The EU behaves in a particular way, and they're very polite.
I know
they don't want to disrupt, you know, other countries, and they're very respectful, and they do all this stuff, just like the middle of the road Dems. But that's not going to cut it now.
Yeah.
They're going to have to do something quite dramatic. Like you say, possibly closing bases and stuff, but that's a huge
That's what they're
step.
threatening to do. They're going to close all the military. And the word is, but remember, I'm not getting them from the horse's mouth. I'm getting this from
sure.
So, you know, take it with a grain of salt. But they're saying shoot to kill. Anybody comes on in Greenland territory, shoot to kill.
Because it's symbolic. It's symbolic of attacking Europe. And we could get into the whole colonial thing, because I'm sure Indigenous Greenlanders have had their issues and their fights for sovereignty. And they had all the stuff your people had, where their kids were plucked up and taken to Denmark and they had to learn Danish in school and, you know, all the stuff that happens with colonialism.
Yeah.
But when you're under threat like that, and this is how I understand the Greenland government works. It's semi-autonomous. So Greenlanders can say what happens domestically, but for their own protection, they've been allied with Denmark for exactly this reason in recent years, right? In case this would ever happen. They thought it was going to be Russia, but in case this happened, right?
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So what do you mean about... What happens when Putin goes down, Lena?
Well, look, I'm coming up with all these problems, but I think we need the crisis before we can get to something cleaner and better as a global population, right? So we are going to be talking about a lot of these things.
Okay.
Putin. Now, what happens, like you said earlier, you know, he just kills the opposition, right? You know.
Yeah.
Right. That's what all dictators do. So what happens when there's a dictator for 10 years, 20 years, 30 years? The opposition is either dead, in jail, in exile, right? So when the dictator collapses, it's not a smooth takeover because people are jockeying for space. They haven't had 30 years as an opposition party as we would know an opposition party, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So Russia, I know that's a long answer, but Russia is really vulnerable once the strong man goes, but they've got to sort it out. The Russians have to sort out where they go from here.
And their personality is so different, girlfriend.
I know.
As a people, do you remember that guy that was close friends with Putin and he walked into Russia? It was all over the news. We thought Putin was going to get taken out. Then he sat down with Putin and they made Putin wasn't paying his people. And he thought Putin was trying to isolate them and kill them. And then they made some sort of agreement. But all of the people that were high-fiving these guys coming in, do you know anybody they found that did that? They killed them. Any civilian that did that. And at the end, that guy died, you know, the one that did that.
It fell out a window or something.
No, he was in a plane.
Oh, okay.
Plane, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, yeah, he'll smile and act like, so he's so evil. He's as evil as Trump.
Sorry to interrupt.
He's as evil as Trump.
Yeah. And speaking of evil as Trump, this story, I think, because there's so much bombardment every day, you miss things that are really important. Now, remember when Hegseth did that ridiculous talk to the generals, remember that?
Oh, God.
Yeah. Right? Okay. Hegseth, I call him the Minister for War Crimes or the Secretary of War Crimes. Anyway, we all remember that speech. Now, since then, they were all called back again, maybe not quite as many, but a big
I
lot.
didn't know that. Yeah.
Okay. What they did, and this is Palantir and these, surveillance technologies, they had the technology on every face and body language. So when he was speaking, someone would just roll an eye or raise an eyebrow or cross their arms.
No, they didn't. Oh, my God. Can you believe it?
Right? This is in the United States of America with their military brass. And they are now all been given the letters. Do you want to resign now, or do you want to be court-martialed down the track with what we've got? So it's shocking. And yet something like that just goes because we've got to follow everything else.
But that the military may fight back.
I'm hoping.
When I have friends who served a dear friend who served in the Vietnam War, and I asked him if this was true, and he said, absolutely. You got a sergeant or somebody crazy enough giving these men's orders that they knew they would die. Suddenly that guy was dead.
My dad had the same story, right? The same story. He was in New Guinea and this guy was sending them to certain death. And whoops.
All of a sudden he got blown up.
Yeah. So it's a really important time for anyone who's an active service member or related to an active service member to really, and if they're church going, talk to their ministers, hopefully not their Southern Baptist ministers, because some of those would go for it, but real Christians, let's just make that distinction, and really, really search your heart about, because apart from everything else, where do you start and stop with this stuff? About the West Wing, have you heard about his plans for the West Wing in today's
besides the ballroom? Oh no, he tore down the East Wing. What's the West Wing?
West Wing, it needs another story. It has to be higher. So in order to do that, that will be literally, I'm laughing because it's just obscene, it's a nervous, neurotic laugh.
Where's he getting all this money?
He can always find money for his vanity.
The oil in Venezuela, which will take years to get out, by the way.
Oh,
that's not overnight.
So behind the eight ball, and it needs a lot of refining.
Oh, yeah.
It's apparently good quality crude, but it's very sticky.
Got a lot of work to do.
A lot of work.
And who's going to refine it with Exxon and stuff back? Because he's begging them to do something. And you watch, the American people will end up having to pay for this.
For sure. But we sort of expected him to be bad in lots of ways.
But he's worse than bad.
But this taking over the world stuff, I would be nervous if I was Canadian. And I've heard Canadians saying, I'm 65 and stuff. I never thought I would say this, but I am ringing up my military recruitment saying, is there any job I can do for the Canadian military that is in front line? And things like this, they're getting prepared. And you can't say they're overreacting. You don't know what this guy will do next Wednesday.
Our military men, the one thing I can tell you that I'm pretty sure would not happen is that they would shoot at their own people. Now, sure, they're playing army and they're going into, oh yeah, that's cool. Let's go into Venezuela, some other country. But I don't see them actually, except for ICE. ICE doesn't care. I do not see the military, Army, Navy, and everything, breaking the Constitution and going after their own civilians.
Well, I hope not, but they're bumping up the money for ICE, and in a way, it's just an armed vigilante.
And most of ICE are trained by Israel. There are people who are in there right now. A lot of them. That guy that shot that girl, he was part of that.
Really, I hadn't heard that.
They showed his ID.
Mm.
Oh my
well,
God.
At least he's been identified and it's out there.
Well, that's why he's not going to be able to rest. That was that death card. He'll never be able to rest. They'll be always chasing after him. Eventually, they'll find him.
Yes, and maybe never sleep again. I'm just saying.
And I'm surprised. The news. I guess Iran is very upset with the BBC. They're not showing the uprising taking place now in Iran.
Exactly, and we're not seeing much of it either.
No, not
big. It's big uprisings. And I made a video last week where I said, watch Iran, because it's talk about regime change.
It's going to change.
Everyone's over the Ayatollah.
Yeah.
And so people forget Iran was really quite a modern country before 1979.
I remember they were so cool. And a lot of Iranian students out here and very cool people, good looking guys.
So it's been a nightmare. He's 89 or something.
Right.
There's talk he'll go to Moscow. And just after I made the video, that came out, that story. If the military and the police actually change sides.
They said they're starting to.
It's touch and go, but I think they will.
Because when something happened, and remember, they were just shooting civilians. It was terrible. They tried to march and they nipped it in the butt. And they were making the women wear the hijabs. They were just, women had no.
Yeah, women used to just wear their hair out and wear mini skirts,
Years ago, I did a reading on it. You guys would remember. And at that time, I saw the women come out from underground. And I saw them fighting and I saw them getting their rights back. And I thought it would happen in my lifetime. And that's what's going on now.
I know. And I don't know if you remember about a year ago or something, some young woman was jailed and beaten for having a bit of hair out. Right. And there were huge protests then. I thought it might go then, but they were squashed. But now it's that much further on. It's deeper.
And who's the one running it now? Who's running it? Yeah, they're blaming Trump. They're saying that's the reason this is going on.
Yeah, well, this is what dictators do. Whatever stripe they are, they blame the other side.
He blames Biden for everything.
Yes, exactly. Mind you, America has got a history there. The CIA went in 1953 and overthrew in covert the democratically elected leader of Iran, who was a young socialist who wanted to socialize the oil. Everyone forgets about this. You can just Wikipedia it.
Yeah.
And they brought back the Shah. And then the Shah ruled for excellence. And then 1979, the revolution. But it goes back to 1953 because America and the UK, because they were busy carving up the Middle East. It was just after the Second World War, and they all wanted to secure oil. So that's why the UK created Iraq along with the thing. It's not ancient history. It was 2 years before I was born,
Wow, yeah, I'll look that up.
Check that out, 1953 Iran. And so this is like the serpent's tail coming in.
Exactly. Last question.
Yeah.
We've got 6,641 in the room.
Oh my God, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Isn't she amazing?
Yeah, these guys are amazing. What do you think about the protests in Israel?
Well, I saw a very interesting podcast recently. And this was an Israeli historian speaking. And he said, in his view, not yet, not right now, but we remember the protests against Netanyahu were massive just prior to October 7th, right?
Uh-huh.
And then this happened, so he's been able to hold on.
Yeah.
But he said what has happened is with the main issue is with the settler movement, and they want, he makes a distinction, stay with me for a minute, of the state of Judea. So they are the hardline ultra-Orthodox who want the lot and believe there's no such thing as an innocent Palestinian, and they're the hardliners. Right. But they were a bit like MAGA. They were only a smaller portion before all this happened.
Right.
And Netanyahu had to get their votes to get power. And so now they've got enormous power. So what this guy was saying was, Israel's going to the right now, but there will be a pendulum swing back, he feels, in a couple of years from now. We will see it change again. So
well, they really are demanding to know what exactly did Netanyahu do. October 7th, they said he was part of it. You know, Israel's known for bombing up and killing their own people and blaming it on someone else.
Well, also, he funded money to Hezbollah at different points and Hamas, and it's very murky in there. But I think I will also condemn anti-Semitism wherever I see it or hear it. I will always step in.
Okay.
It's really important to not think that all Jews are doing this. So Jews who are part of the movement, not in my name, for example. And so it's really important to, I think, give voice to the Jews who are opposed to what is happening in Gaza.
Yeah.
That must be spoken to.
A lot of the bodies, again, this is on social media. You can't take this to the bank. But a lot of social media stuff are posting about a lot of the bodies of the children were missing their liver, and they're using their body parts.
Oh, that's just true. According to one of the comments on screen, Iran has fallen. The military.
Yeah, Iran has fallen.
We just spoke.
I know. Hold on one second.
Check it out.
Double check it. Has Iran fallen and the military taken over? No, Iran has not fallen. The military has not taken over the country.
Okay, watch this space.
Yes, protests and unrest, but the government and military remain in control. So it's ongoing right now.
It's ongoing, but I think it's really just very close. But I'd love to close with a quote. When I was in Argentina, I don't know if you remember, but last year or whenever I was in Argentina, and I met a 100-year-old Jewish woman, a Polish Jew, 100 years old. And she said, Israel cannot continue to do this in my name. One.
Ooh.
And she said, you cannot avenge the death of your children by killing someone else's children.
That's true. That's true.
And I think that's a lesson for all of us and every one of us in this thing. We've got to start thinking collectively.
Yeah.
We as humans should have to share these values of hope and trust and a better world for our kids that we leave behind.
Yeah.
You know, it's the first time the young people are going backwards economically.
And you guys on this chat GPT, I double checked when Rob Reiner was unalived. I said, is it true Rob Reiner and his wife have been unalived? And it said, no, that's not true. They're still alive and well, and they were not alive at the time. But
No.
so sometimes Chat GPT, like somebody said, they've taken over. It could very well have happened, but Chat GPT is a better.
Yeah, it's behind. I'll look up some international news in a minute. But if it hasn't happened, it's very, very close.
Right, right.
Yeah.
And you guys, I'm going to be on tomorrow morning at 10:30 a.m. and I'm going to pick 2 winners. And then we'll ask more questions that you can ask me because it'll be live.
Well, thanks for having me, Linda. It was such a buzz. It always is.
This was great. And it goes by too fast. But you know, I don't like doing shows over an hour. I just
no.
I'm usually like this at 20 minutes.
I know. I know. Yeah, look, totally. I totally identify.
All right, you guys. I love you all. Thank you, Nicole. My poor Nicole. I hope you're feeling better.
Is that your daughter?
Yeah. Aquas, Water Lily, the whole gang here. Lisa was here. Who else was here? Lisa Foster, Water Lily. I tried to get everybody in there. Ron Unconditional. So, Tina in Mexico. Thank you. Bye, you guys.
Bye, everyone.